Welcome back to my channel, and if you find value in what I do, please subscribe to my channel and let's continue to make memories together. I told every one of us that it's Trump 2.0 and Trump is going to serve everybody jollof rice, didn't I? Already, it has started. As we speak, the PEPFAR program has been frozen. That means that the Presidential Emergency Plan for AIDS relief is no longer operational. That particular program was put together by President George Bush in 2003. And it was to intervene in the area of HIV and AIDS. I think it has the malaria component, which is the PMI or thereabouts, which I don't know. But that project saved about 26 million people who are currently on antiretroviral. I want to explain how this project has helped Nigeria, Africa, and the rest of the world. 2 million people live with HIV/AIDS in Nigeria. And out of these 2 million people living with HIV and AIDS in Nigeria, 1.2 million persons are benefiting directly from that project. And over 4 million orphans and vulnerable children are also beneficiaries of that program. Between 2019 April and March 2021, 450,000 persons have been enrolled in HIV treatment in Nigeria under that program. So what this means is that 26 million people all over the world who are benefiting from the PEPFAR program will no longer have access to antiretroviral. 7 million vulnerable children and orphans who are also benefiting from the PEPFAR program will also no longer have access to antiretroviral and other services that have been helpful to children and vulnerable people. This is what Trump 2.0 is about. So when Africa and some other persons were celebrating over Trump's victory, they didn't know what is coming on them. As we speak, what will be the fate of those living with HIV and AIDS? Are we going to be having that pandemic when people kept dying of HIV and AIDS back in the days? I don't know if the Chinese will bring or offer alternative, but is the Chinese alternative going to be a pathway for Africa? Or will African leaders invest in public health concerns now? It's been a big battle that African countries don't invest in public health. African countries, particularly Nigeria, don't invest in health, education, and very essential services where you expect government to invest her resources in. In all the statistics I read out, Nigeria is one of the greatest beneficiaries in Africa. We take the largest chunk of all the PEPFAR programs that come to Africa. What is Bola Ahmed Tinubu going to be doing differently? Are we going to be going through the Chinese route, which comes with a hefty price? Are the religious institutions going to be funding our health institutions as well? Are we going to be having faith-based organizations increase their fundings as well? We have mega churches in Nigeria raising billions of naira every other Sunday, pulling them to bring these resources to manage HIV and malaria interventions. Because when you see the commodities, particularly in sectors where you have treatment of malaria at a cheap price, it's because somebody is subsidizing. As we speak, that funding is no longer there. It's been frozen, that program has been cancelled for now. And that means that 1.2 million lives will be counting on government for survival. Is Bola Ahmed Tinubu stepping up to brace these challenges? How are African leaders working together to bridge this gap as PEPFAR is stepping aside? This is a big question we need to begin to ask ourselves. What are those living on antiretroviral going to be doing at the point where antiretroviral ceases to exist? Because of Trump's decision to ban foreign aid, the USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, has also put out statements across countries around the world informing them of their withdrawal of funds. These are going to be hard times, these are going to be tough times, and this is one out of the so many bans that will have impact on Africa. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about the Lobito Corridor project. Is that going to be affected by Trump's decision as well? How will African countries that are benefiting from the Lobito Corridor project going to brace up? These are hard times for Africa. This is hard time for Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the faith-based institutions, government, philanthropists need to brace up now because 1.2 million lives are waiting to get their antiretroviral drugs. 4 million kids, orphans and vulnerable children would need the services of the government. This is a time for government, the wealthy people, the religious leaders to begin to negotiate and discuss how best to set up funds and interventions to bridge the PEPFAR interventions. I'd love to read your comment on this matter, and I hope to see you in the next video.